My name is Ville Aittomäki. I'm the CEO of Vaisto Solutions and also the founder of the company. Vaisto is a software engineering services company that provides services and solutions for our customers. And our customers are mainly customers developing and manufacturing smart machines and industrial automation.
I am Juha Leppänen. I'm from Cameratori, which is known worldwide as camera store or camera rescue, depending if it's the buying or the selling side of our business, and we buy and sell cameras.
My name is Otto Kruns. I'm the CEO of Revonte. We are a startup based here in Tampere, and we are building e-bike drive systems. That means the motor and the battery that makes a bike an e-bike.
Many of the people in Vaisto have worked together in the past, and what we wanted to create was a company that we wanted to work ourselves. So basically, to have a workplace where it is fun and of course which has then local significance in the local community and local ecosystem. We started planning Vaisto roughly about 2016 and then started working on putting together the business plan, putting together some initial steps in order to acquire first projects and first customers. And then I think it was spring 2017 when we were able to kind of press the famous green button and start Vaisto.
The idea was originally from high school. I did a lot of buying and selling of cameras in high school because I wanted to try out cameras and I wanted to test this and that camera, and then there were no shops left because of the digital revolution of cameras came. Our path as a startup is kind of two-sided. We have the Cameratori. The original company was founded 10 years ago, and it was founded in Tampere, and we started as 20-year-olds with no investment, and we've been bootstrapping the company along the way so that we always bought with what we had and nothing more. And then around 4 years ago, we started another company that focused on the software side of this second-hand unique item e-commerce.
I joined the founding team in summer of 2018, and we actually started real product development about 2 years ago. So it's been only 2 years and we are already pretty far ahead with the product development. Well, the original idea of Revonte, this kind of automatic transmission and also fully configurable drive system, came from the original two founders, Iiro and Antero, who had been both working in the e-bike scene before. They had their own companies selling e-bikes and building some solutions around e-bikes, and they got sort of frustrated with the current solution, because if you take an e-bike, most of the problems that customers actually have are related to the transmission. So we wanted to solve that problem, but also at the same time we wanted to make it fully automatic so that riding an e-bike would be very natural and easy, that you wouldn't have to worry about switching gears, and we were able to find a very good solution for this, and we went from there.
Working together, helping our customers and having fun.
Learning, vintage and e-commerce.
Creating a great product for the end customer, make a good solution, and we really appreciate the team. And of course there's also this meaningful impact in the world, improving the life and environment.
For us, it's kind of work of people from academia, from banks, from the public sector, for other companies. In terms of benefiting from that ecosystem, I think for us it's been pretty good. I think we've been receiving the support that we need, but of course then it means that you need to be active and you need to reach out. But then again, the network and the ecosystem that's here in Tampere is important, and I think companies and other stakeholders are pretty willing to help each other out.
I would describe it as growing. I've been involved in the startup ecosystem for quite many years, maybe 6-7 years. I've been doing a lot of mentoring at New Factory and those kind of things. So I'm a bit, let's say, passionate about also making sure that Tampere region is able to provide support and create startups. But on the other hand, I also think that it's also the startups themselves and their success that creates this environment where people like to do startups. I think that for Tampere to really grow, we should have startups like Revonte and others that are really doing big things and so on, because once you have those supercells and other successful startups, then that sort of encourages other people to try it, because they can then see that, hey, it's possible to come from Tampere and go international, go big, become a unicorn or something. I think that's still a bit missing, that we don't have enough those, let's say, high success startups in this region to generate that kind of ongoing passion for people to try it out. Tampere is still in a bit of incubation phase, that we are still waiting for those to really ignite the whole startup scene in Tampere.
There's a number of companies that kind of work together actively via network or ecosystem or community, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so there are a bunch of companies that try to pursue common business goals and help each other in terms of expertise and projects.
That one finds to be useful always takes trial and error. So yes, there's obviously a need for it. The networking is the more important part, and then collaborations come as a result of networking.
My responsibility as being there as a startup entrepreneur for 25 years, so I feel that it's my responsibility also to move this thing forward. When you get something, then you pay it forward to the next generation of startups that you get involved, and you help them out in any way as you can. And that's maybe also something that I'm a bit critical in Tampere region, that a lot of the people who have been successful in some startups and so on, but they are not actively doing these things, that sometimes they just go and do something totally different, but they are not sort of pushing the startup ecosystem itself forward as I think they should be.
From day one, we've been in fairly regular contact with, for instance, Business Tampere, and things are working pretty good. We've been working together in, reaching out in certain hackathons or networking events, things like that. So I think that's, at least for us, the most valuable part of the collaboration with Business Tampere. It's been helping us in creating these events or communities where companies, customers and suppliers and other companies can, get to know each other and maybe come up with some new bright ideas. It's kind of helping us to build our network.
We have been doing fine without, essentially, so we don't really know about the ecosystem itself, but there's some things in Tampere, the U-campus, that we've more been actually presenters in it. That I've been speaking there a few times. Then there was some circular economy evenings.
One thing that has been maybe a bit missing, that we've had all these accelerators and other, like this Platform 6 and these kind of, let's say, organized bases and so on. But I think one thing that's not really there is that startups themselves should be more involved together, that especially organizing all kinds of parties and visiting others, and people are moving from company to company. This is more like an opportunity to cooperate than to compete, reaching out to other startups or discussing about, let's say, common problems and so on. And especially if we consider startups that are a bit further ahead, that are not just in the beginning phases, they are growing and scaling up. There are other startups that are exactly in the same position or have passed that position, that you just call and have a chat or have coffee with someone, but at least I haven't seen a lot of that kind of activity happening.
If you're dreaming about this startup journey, it's difficult to do it in practice while you are still working elsewhere. If you need to put 8 hours a day into something that you do for a living and then try to put something of a startup together as a hobby, I think that's kind of tricky. For me, I think kind of the single most important learning or lesson was the importance of the right team. So in order to have the right group of people with you when you take that first step, that is super, super crucial.
With young entrepreneurs, I would first find mentors, then I would find a good team. If you're young and in your mindset, you'll do a better job than 90% of the businesses that are around. You can go into any possible area and find enough to beat the other competition. But you have to have the good team and wisdom from mentors if it's the right direction you're taking or not.
Yeah, maybe two things that I'm quite often mentioning in these kind of questions is that the team is really crucial, that you should really make sure that you have the best team that you can have. It doesn't mean that it's absolutely the best, because typically you have very limited selection of people that are willing to join the team. If you have a good team and you're doing something and it doesn't go well, you can always pivot and do something totally different. I've seen very good examples of that kind of happening because they have a very good team that are able to do those kind of things. But then if you have a team that's underperforming, and it could be just that you have one person who is sort of causing some issues, then that reflects to the whole team. So making sure that you have the good team is really, really important. And then the other thing is go international as soon as possible. quite often you have a chance to do some, let's say, piloting. In Finland you have some companies and so on. It might be quite okay and even lucrative to do something locally, but then you are always already losing the game to the big markets. If there's another startup in Germany doing exactly the same thing, they also go into the local companies, but the local companies are 10 times bigger than whatever is in Finland, so they are already able to grow 10 times faster than you are, even though you are sort of doing the same thing. That's why when coming from small markets like Estonia, Iceland or Finland, you really have to go international right away, because otherwise you are giving it away for someone else to do it. So immediately go to the bigger markets and validate the product there.